Hello and welcome back to Dead But Alive, Southern England. Right, if we can get a few more supplies, we can start repair work on that bloody tank. Actually, given that it takes us 6 AP to get there in the first place. Might be better spending today just building up all the supplies we can. Anyway, the plains here are wide and flat, a patchwork of fields. Glastonbury Tor stands tall, a good landmark to the northwest. There aren't many people around here, so there probably won't be that many Zeds to cause problems. There are probably some good building supplies here, but we can expect to encounter a lot of Zeds. While scouting the nearby countryside, we came across some small houses that we never knew were there before. One house was still locked up, but we managed to find a spare key under the doormat, and we heard movement, and we had our weapons drawn before the first zombie came into sight. Wow, it's actually quite a few of them. Okay, that is actually what I was aiming for once. Because on ones that have the double, you've actually got a reasonable chance of getting the triple. Like that. Yeah, he's lost. Good hit, Steve. I may think you're a complete and utter wanker, but good hit. And yes, wanker is a very British insult. It's not a particularly logical one, but hey, since when do insults have to make sense? Oh, bugger, bugger, bugger! Oh god, that was close. Perfect. There's no way he's topping that. Okay, and... okay, the ×3, I'll take that. I was kind of going for the triple skull, but I will quite happily take a ×3, hit. At the end of the day, that's pretty damn powerful in its own right. She's going to hit the bloody triple skull, isn't she? Good. Someone called out to me, and I ducked just in time to avoid certain death. You think you can handle experiencing a fight like this? Until you wake up screaming at 3 in the morning. God, I need to be stronger than this. They're all counting on me. Emily's counting on me. It's what happened next that was more important for us. We'd become used to a hard life and learned not to be too picky. But in this location we managed to find some great canned food, water, beer, sweets, you name it. Things got better, and the front door was hanging off, but it was a solid door and the wood was in excellent condition, so we broke up the door and we'll use the wood for building with. I don't know how you meant to fix a tank with wood, but okay. Salisbury is a nice town, and an ancient one with a village atmosphere. I'll always have fond memories of the weeks I spent there with my army mates. I expect now that the area is quite dangerous, filled with the infected, and their desolate legacy. A legacy of panic, looting and decay. There may well be a few things of value in the town, as it had quite the large population, somewhere around the 40,000 mark, but that would also make it a dangerous place to visit. But there should be quite a bit of food here. Today we investigated rumours of supplies to be found in a more populated area. Just take a look at this photo I took. What a location, eh? But to our alarm, we were not the first to arrive at the scene, and the undead were waiting for us. Oh yeah, a street sign. Yep, that's riveting. Stop there. Thank you. Nope, 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 nope. Oh god, that was close. Worried it was going to stop on the skull for a second. No. Okay, on the 5, the 5 is fine. Yeah, he's going down. He's really going down. We only survived this time because we worked together and we watched each other's backs. We have to stick together. It's not as if I didn't learn to handle my feelings in the military, but god, sometimes even I'm shitting my pants. Feelings are just feelings. I don't plan on letting them get the best of me. But what came next? We came across a pile of vitamins and food supplements, vital nutrients, which will be of great help to us. Okay, let's keep looking for supplies. The forest land is a mix of trees and grasslands with many barrows, and this ancient hunting ground is well managed, and there aren't too many dwellings around. I wouldn't expect many zombies to be found shambling around the ancient tombs. The tumuli here. This area should contain building supplies, and has a relatively low risk of attack. Today we decided to check out some remote buildings that we hadn't noticed on the map before. You can see the location in this photograph. Under the circumstances... Sorry about all the yawning. This is the problem. I was out at Swords last night, so I'm a bit tired. Ugh. Under the circumstances, I think we were lucky to find it. Cold and dark, this house had clearly been abandoned for quite some time. There was some delicious corned beef in the cellar, and then in the workshop a quick search through the table resulted in finding an unopened box of shotgun shells. And on top of that we discovered a lot of wood and building materials in the basement. Okay, so we've got 6 points left. I don't want to be using up any more fuel, so I think we're just heading back to camp. And we might as well do some hunting, because that uses up ammunition, which I don't really need. Next day. Okay, we're still doing alright. Let's do some cooking. Eric has recovered. Good for you, Eric. Ooh, a survivor. Irwin Minster, one of many tiny villages that populate this region of wonderful countryside. It's a beautiful rural area. Compared to a town, there won't be many infected people here to worry about, and with luck some of these small villages will have escaped the virus entirely. We've been in touch with a different survivor by radio, who's expressed an interest in joining our group, so we should check it out. Okay, let's accept them. Let's go talk to this group. The countryside here to the west of Salisbury is beautiful English countryside. Wide fields with the occasional villages that pepper the edges of the roads, and the River Nadir, which runs east to west through here. The region is principally rural, few resources, not too many people, infected or otherwise, to concern any scavengers. And we've been in touch with a different group by radio. We should check it out. Let's ask them to join the group. Plus 3 survivors. Excellent. So that means we're up to 15, doesn't it? Okay, I'm tempted to get one more survivor guy. Brings to a nice around 16 survivors. I mean, I think that'll lead to us getting through about 27 food in a day, but we've been collecting that much recently, so it might be worth it. 16, so that's 1.5 for every... That's 3 points for every 2, so that's 24 AP for that. 22 without it, effectively. No, it's not worth the 10 AP today. Not unless we can get a closer one sometime in the future. I stayed at the army base around here for a few months, back with some of my old army mates like Dirk from Dorchester. There's a lot of infrastructure around the base, and the nearby village is bigger than some in the area, but on the whole this is a pretty isolated rural spot. We think there'll probably be some weaponry or ammunition here, and the area looks relatively safe to visit. We saw some houses hidden from the main road on a previous trip into the countryside, and today seemed like a pretty good day to check them out. I had a good feeling about one house in particular. There was no sign of any trouble as we smashed a window and went inside. Then I heard a scream and turned to see one of the group fending off a zombie attack. Great. Get some of my less useful combatants. That's a +6. That's at least a +3, probably a +4. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Yes, perfection. Good hit. Bodies everywhere. I'm just glad we weren't among them. We did well today. We survived. So why does it feel so wrong? But what was the result? Things got better, and a huge 4-poster bed sat in one of the bedrooms, and under its pink pillow we found a few glittering bullets. Who hides bullets under their pillow, anyway? High risk area, maybe? No, I don't think so. Medium risk. Is there any fuel anywhere? Not for a long way off. Let's go for some of these supplies, I think. The woods near Bridgewater. I remember walking through the trees here with Aunt Susan and my father. It was raining that day, and Barney, her old dog, made a mess everywhere. I wonder if dogs are affected by the virus. The places that we visited seemed quite remote, and I don't expect there are too many Zeds wandering through the trees. There should be some building supplies here, and we classify the area as low risk. Oh, we don't expect to see too many Zeds. We went out to the countryside looking for supplies, and the town we went into looked empty from the outside. We checked a couple of windows before we went in, all the same, and cold and dark, this house had clearly been abandoned for some time. The garage had a few jars of plum jam, homemade and stacked in cardboard boxes, and we added those to our supplies. Furthermore, in one room we found some magazines and a few small packages with rounds. Someone must have lost them there. And the garden had a greenhouse, its windows mostly shattered and wrecked, but the metal frame was in excellent condition, and we dismantled the building supplies to make practical use of its bones. Okay, I'm going to go all the way over here and get this fuel, I think. My fiancée grew up on the downs here, in a small cottage in a village called Sheraton. The landscape's pretty idyllic, wide arable fields crisscrossed with roads that are lined with trees. There should be some fuel here, and we don't expect too much trouble. We heard rumours of a small farmstead nearby that may well have some useful supplies, and we went to check it out. Though locked and bolted, the glass doors of this fuel station shop were easily smashed, and we quickly began to look around. We couldn't find anything of use, but a large locked strongbox looked pretty promising. We took everything that might be useful, and moreover we discovered some ammo, and on top of that the owner had stashed away a few fuel cans. That was not a great day in terms of amount of stuff we got compared to the amount of stuff we used, but oh well. Don't have time to do anything else, so just next day. Gerald has recovered. Good for Gerald. Okay. Go cooking. How many guys have we got now? Yeah, we've now got 15 people, which is pretty decent. So yeah, we're burning through 26 food a day, which is a lot. There's an army base here, but generally Bladford is an isolated rural location, and it's pretty easily accessible by roads, less so on foot, and I'd not expect to find many infected around here. We hope to obtain a few building supplies here, and the Z activity is minimal. Today we found a small country village that looked like it had been abandoned for quite some time. One small house near the end of the row had apparently been missed by the looters, and we decided to break in and check it out. To our alarm, we weren't the first to arrive on the scene, and the undead were waiting for us. Okay, Carl. Punch it in the face. Alternatively, cut its head off. I say, one thing that I think would have been an interesting addition would be if you could improve the quality of your generic survivors by, using your supplies to make them better weapons. So it's a case of spend, I don't know, 50 supplies, and in exchange all your generic survivors gain +2 hand-to-hand effectiveness. Maybe something like that, I don't know. It wasn't until after the fight that we noticed how close a call it had been, and when the dust settled we tended to our wounds and looked around. This was no time for reflection, however. We had to dispose of the dead before others arrived. It's what happened next that was far more important for us. Additionally, we broke into the cellar and lit a lamp there with trepidation. The air was dry and the yellow light revealed a glass-fronted gun cabinet. We searched it and recovered 3 full boxes of shotgun shells. What's more, the garden had a few tins of fuel, and ancient-looking red metal cylinders. There was also a lot of building material in the basement. Okay, the food situation's not great. So let's head to there. A remote area of fields and a patchwork landscape. There aren't that many population centres, with Glastonbury and Yeovil being the nearest cities. I don't imagine many Zeds being in this place. Still, there might be some food here, and the area looks relatively safe to visit. We heard rumours of a small farmstead nearby that might have some useful supplies. We went to check it out. One house was still locked up, but we found a spare key hidden in the back garden. One of the rooms was locked. We figured that was probably where the owners kept the good stuff. We opened the lock and could finally do what we came here for. Inside we found a stash of conserves, and furthermore we discovered a little ammo. Okay, we're not doing too bad for supplies. Tempted to go all the way to the Isle of Wight. Walk and use the boat? Yeah. Daniel, my artist friend, has an old oil painting of the arch here. The arch just off the beach, before it collapsed a couple of decades ago. My fiancée, Juliet, Keith and I had all visited the beach, and on my fiancée's first trip to the island, What a glorious day that was. The bay's probably swimming with Zeds by now. The memory is there, but the reality's gone. Dead, like my fiancée. And at the old arch, I pray that my friends are still safe. There should be some building supplies here, and we classify the area as low risk, and don't expect to see too many Zeds. The stench of rotting flesh and litter was almost too much to bear, but we continued our way into the more populated areas. I'll save some words and just refer you to the photo. Cold and dark, the house had clearly been abandoned for some time. The dining room had a serving hatch. We opened the doors to find some food there, still fresh. Most welcome find. More than that, we searched the attic and the heating system contained a good half tank of fuel. A most useful find. Moreover, we came across a woodshed in the garden, festooned with building materials. And those will be most useful. Okay, enough food for today, so let's... No, we won't have enough bloody thing left over to go fix the goddamn tank, will we? I remember coming here on a holiday as a child with my parents. Fringes of the New Forest. I'd been many times since, often taking trips out of Bournemouth nearby. The train's a mix of trees and quite open spaces of short grass and hillocks, and even tumuli. It's quite remote, and we don't expect too many Zeds to be taking short breaks here, so there should be some food here. We don't expect too much trouble. Today we decided to check out some remote buildings we hadn't noticed on the map before, and we were amazed to find the back door to one of the houses was unlocked, yet there were no signs of looters having found it. We couldn't believe how lucky we were, and the only inhabitants of this house were the spiders in their webs. At the bottom of one wall we found foil-sealed rusks, an ideal food source for us. Additionally, the study had a small library, wrecked books asunder. We found a few bullets hidden in one of the tattered books. And the scent of oil pulled us towards the pantry, and we found an old fuel can, filled and sitting there, as though just waiting for us. Back to the camp, let's do a little bit of hunting, and let's head on. Okay, let's do some cooking. Right, let's go to that bloomin' tank. Okay. Yes. Well, what do you think, boss? Today looks like a fine day to work on the tank to me. Sounds good. Now that's what I was hoping to hear. I'll get started straight away. What would you like me to focus on today? Okay. Repairing the chain drive. It's going to take 20 AP and 40 material. You lose 20 AP, you lose 40 material. Good choice. Let me grab my tools and see what I can do. Let us know if you need anything. The rest of us could stand guard out here while you're working. The least we could do is keep the Zeds off you. I'd appreciate it. I tend to work better when no one's trying to eat me. I'll holler when I'm done for the day. Thanks. Okay, so that went okay. Let's head to this potential fuel location. The forest land is a mix of trees and grasslands with many burrows, and this ancient hunting ground is well managed. There aren't too many dwellings around. I wouldn't expect many zombies to be found shambling around ancient tombs and tumuli here. There should be some fuel. We think the area is low risk, and we don't expect to see too many Zeds. With our supplies running low, we decided to try our luck in a rural village several miles outside the city. The fuel station was eerily quiet as we looked around. Some of the windows had been broken, but it looked otherwise undisturbed. Everything was quiet, and nobody disturbed us. We found a stash of food, dried fruit and nuts, which we gladly took. Although there was still signs saying no gas, there was still a decent amount of fuel in some of the tanks. That's actually a pretty good turnout. Don't have anything else I can do for now, so next day. And once again, let's do some cooking, because that's a really easy way to get a few bits of food. Okay, we've almost got enough fuel to completely fuel up the tank. And after that, we just need as many supplies as we can lay our hands on. So let's take a risky trip to the Isle of Wight. Right. First I saw the island when I met my friend Keith here. God, how long's it been since I pushed through the thronging streets and clambered up and down the hills? I remember lots of people when I came here, and I expect those crowds of tourists are now crowds of infected. I wonder if my friend the doctor is among them, or is he safe with Juliet and the friends I've met there, in hiding like me? There should be a substantial amount of fuel here, and that means a lot of Zeds, and a lot of risk attached to any visit here. Caution should be advised. As we came much closer to the city, abandoned cars made it much more difficult to get through. And I'm tired from the run, and I didn't want to write too much, so please just look at the photo I took. It almost felt like an ambush, and no sooner had we entered the location than a wave of zombies emerged from all sides. Okay, Carl put a round straight through his skull. Good. 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 It wasn't until after the fight that we noticed how close a call it had been, and when the dust settled, we tended to our wounds and looked around. Some of the group were proud of their fighting skills. God, when do you feel proud of killing? Everything I do for Emily, and we all felt we deserved to find something good after everything we'd just gone through. The study was large, lined with wood and many books, and the desk there had several drawers. One contained dried rusks, still fresh, and we added those to our supplies. And the garage also had a nice supply of ammo, plus in the cellar, the owner had stored some fuel cans. Okay, so we don't have time to go to the tank today, but we now have the fuel we need for it. So... I'm tempted to go talk to one of these other survivor groups. I still carry the photograph of the statue of King Alfred, a photo with my fiancée and a tiny Emily, both wearing vivid orange waterproofs, the hoods pulled up despite the fact that the sun is bright, clear and beaming, just like their smiles. The city's probably swarming with Zeds now, swarming with death and decay. People like fish, like a river meandering around the feet of the Stone King, with the sword held high in defiance. We've been in touch with a different group by radio. We should probably check it out. Let's try and trade resources with them. Showed some interest in our arrow, 7 points. They offered to trade against food. Wow, that's actually a really good trade, because I do not need the ammunition. The food's useful immediately. The material's useful in the long run. So I'm going to go for the long run option, which I'm probably going to end up regretting when we start starving fairly soon, but hey, what can you do? Okay, let's walk there. Wide, flat fields with the occasional hill populate this countryside area. There aren't too many people or supplies around. We think there might be some weapon and ammunition supplies here. The area is overrun, and it would be dangerous to visit it. Today we decided to check out some remote buildings that we hadn't noticed on the map before. A military checkpoint here had been broken and abandoned, but it didn't look like the looters had found it yet. The stench of rotting flesh should have given them away, but we were still surprised by the group of zombies that waited for us. Because I'm pretty confident I can win every fight now, because I haven't yet lost so badly that I lose all my primary guys. No. Oh, damn it. Okay, I need him to hit on a skull. Double skull, damn it. Ah well. It was only Steve, I don't care if he gets hurt. No. Oh, god damn it. Now, Caroline's actually a decent human being. Oh, good. Stalemate. Whew, that was close. Okay, bring me into this fight, because I can... I have twice the melee skill it does. That was not good. Could have gone better. Could have gone worse, to be fair, but it didn't exactly go well. Damn it. I'm wounded. This one zombie's proving annoying. Good. Stop there. Okay, 24. Beat that. Are you kidding me? God damn it. Right, bullets. Lots and lots of bullets into his face with extreme prejudice. Okay, it looks like we're going for the triple skull, which we can get without too many problems. Right. You are going down, matey. Okay, Caroline, you can take this guy out. But don't risk going for the skulls. Good. Stop there. Haha. Down he goes. Good. There's blood. God, there's blood everywhere. Sometimes I think I should simply let it go. Let myself get bitten, eaten, shot, whatever. Just give in to the desire to end it all. Because I no longer feel these things like I used to. One day I won't feel them at all. What I really want right now, though, are supplies. A wooden crate labelled with military use only held a stash of rifles and magazines. Things got better and we found some fuel cans waiting for us. Oh bugger. The fuel situation's the food situation's problematic. So I'm going to trade with this group and see if they'll trade us some food. My memories of Yoaville and my holiday here with my fiancée will always make this a special town. There was some sort of a manor or maybe estate to the west of the town here. I bet the fortifications and castles and old buildings like that will be pretty useful these days. Funny to think that medieval technology might be the best sort in troubled times. We're in touch with a different group by radio. We should check it out. We're going to have to drive that. Let's trade resources. They showed interest in our food. Screw you. That's the one thing I needed. Oh, bloody hell. Now we're going to starve for a day. Oh well. Okay, we can afford to starve for one day without everybody whinging too much. Right. Let's start by doing some hunting to get at least a little bit of food in. And then let's do some cooking in order to get a little bit more food in. Okay. Medium risk. Go scavenging. Salisbury, the townhouse where I was stationed back in the early days. The town was busy then, everything new and exciting. Now the streets were empty and dead. Dead with the living, the infected, the diseased. There might be quite a lot of food here, though the area probably has quite a lot of Zeds, so any trip would be risky. Litter, corpses, destruction. The city had seen better days for sure, and we decided it was time for a drink, and broke into the first pub we could find. The stench of rotting flesh should have given them away, but we were still surprised by the group of zombies that were waiting for us. Yeah, so I should have traded that other group of survivors for their food, rather than their supplies. It's my own damn fault. I went for the long-term plan, and kind of screwed us in the short term. Stop, 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 stop! Oh, thank God, that was close. Yeah, he's going down. Baseball bat to the skull. Okay, let's see how high we can actually push this score. Stop on the 3, stop on the 3. Good. Okay, stop on the 5. That'll do. Haha. 47. Beat that. If he gets the triple skull... Holy mother of Christ! That's the second time that Mike has had an incredibly high score and he's got triple skull. Yeah, I'm sorry, that feels like the game basically, looking at me going, haha, you think that was good? Well, take this, sucker! Ha! Down it goes. The air was thick with the stench of death, and at least one of the group threw up. Don't know what scares me more. The fear of battle, that small primal part of me that actually seems to enjoy it. Still, all I can do is keep going. And guess what happened next? We found some rye bread. Hard, but edible. It'll prove quite delicious. Moreover, there was a dead soldier leaning against the wall beside his rifle, and we found some spare rounds in his pockets and a live grenade. We also came across a pile of wooden crates. They were empty, but they were in great condition, so we pulled them apart, and the wood would make for useful building materials. Right, that to me is a pretty good point to end this part, so I will say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next.